I did everything in a retail setting, but I do know some people who have done their internship in a hospital. I think they also allow long-term care. That's another environment they allow you to accumulate your internship hours.
Okay, guys, I'm here with a new offer with Pharmacist Vishaal. If you want to get 26% off on my meetings, you can go through Pharmacist Vishaal. You can send him, Vishaal, how do you want people to reach out to you?
Yeah, I think the best way is by email.
Okay, so you guys can see the email on the screen. Send him an email. And remember, he is a full-time working pharmacist. So he's going to get back to you whenever it's completely convenient for him. And that might not be as fast as you want it to be. But when he chooses to get back to you, we are all lucky.
Usually it's anywhere between 1,500 and 1,800 hours, I would say is the standard. And then once you have the hours under your belt, then they will allow you to take the NAPLEX and the MPJE. Um, I did everything in a retail setting, but I do know some people who have done their internship in a hospital. I think they also allow long-term care. That's another environment they allow you to accumulate your internship hours.
Most people watching this, they can't wait to get to FPGE, but they got to clear TOEFL first. So did I hear you correctly? Did you say that the entire process, Netflix, the law exam, FPGE. Did you say that even for you, a native English speaker, the hardest part was passing the TOEFL?
Yeah, the hardest part is it's the TOEFL, but in particular it's the speaking. If that speaking section didn't exist, it would, that would change things. But that speaking section, see, you have a minute or a couple of minutes to speak at a level of 26, right? Because they have the algorithms that work it out, and then they have someone else who's marking it, I guess, in the background. But you have to get to this high level of 26, and you're under immense pressure because you don't get a second chance. It's not like you can go back. Once you've spoke, it's done, it's over, and that puts a lot of pressure on someone's shoulders. And I think if I remember correctly, the first time, um, I think I froze in some of the questions. I froze, and that the algorithm in the background is not picking anything up, and your score is dropping from 26 to it's dropping. The less you're speaking is dropping. And then this is happening, and that's making you even more nervous, and
Yeah.
you're crashing even more. So it's the speaking thing was more about it's a skill. It's a skill you need to practice, and it's a different type of skill. See, with the other stuff, the FPGE, the MPJE, even other sections of the TOEFL, it's very much they're very similar in how you approach them, but the speaking is very different. It's unique.
Yes. This test takers, Aaron has to explain. You guys,
Mhm.
I'm always trying to teach you the difference between what you think you're doing, which is explaining, not, versus what I'm gonna do, and Vishal gets to decide if I explain correctly or not. The difference that I feel he is saying is the other sections and the other tests on your way to your pharmacist license, you can prepare by gaining the knowledge beforehand. Whereas the speaking section, he said 60 seconds, there's no 60 seconds or less, there's no going back. It's more about performance in the moment. It's almost like balancing your confidence. And if your confidence slips, it's really hard to recover for the rest of your answer. How did I Vishal, I hope I gave the test takers listening a good example of what explaining is and how they're not doing that. How did I do?
Yeah, no, you did really well. You explained really well that you took the words out of my mouth. exactly how you described it. That's what I felt. Um, there's a heavy weight, and it's about performance. You have to perform. And see, with some of these other exams, I mean, even NAPLEX, if when you take the NAPLEX, if you once you take the question, you're not able to go back, but you can recover. With the speaking, it's very difficult to recover once you've crashed. How many questions are there in the speaking, Aaron? I forget now.
4 questions.
Four questions. Okay, so maybe that there is some room if you, but it's four questions. It's four questions. In the Naplex you have hundreds of questions. So there's very small room for error in
Yes.
the TOEFL.
The first time you guys might have seen Vishal was in the first video we made together right after he got above 26 on speaking and finished his TOEFL. And that was over 2 years ago from when we're making this video. Vishal's a pharmacist. And Vishal, are you completely licensed and completely finished?
Yeah, I'm completely finished now. I have my state license. So the journey began, like Aaron mentioned, 2 years ago. So I came to the US in 22, summer of 22, and that's when I began all my paperwork, which you need to submit to the NABP. All the information's on the NABP website. And once you pass this hurdle of sending them all the paperwork and they give you the green light, you'll be able to take the TOEFL exam. So in 2022, I submitted my paperwork. 23, they gave me the green light, and that's when I began attempting to take the TOEFL. So I failed twice. I passed my third time. Um, the first two times I got, I believe it was 25 on the TOEFL, both times. And I was kind of bummed out because I was so close. Yet, it felt like I was really far away, even though it was only uh, I was only one mark of the 26. It just felt like there was a big mountain to climb. So I came to Aaron, I found him online, and we had, I think it was three sessions, and I
That's
watched a lot of his
brilliant.
videos on YouTube as well. The TOEFL and the FPGE kind of go together, I guess. And yeah, with the FPGE, just know that you will pass. It's just one of those things where the exam is the questions can be a bit tricky, but in the end, like I said, my experience is everyone that I took the exam with, they all pass. So the FPGE is yeah. So that's another one. So you have the TOEFL, you pass the TOEFL, then you have the FPGE. But like I said, there's hope. There was, the practice questions we did, and that the sessions that we had uh, really helped and took me over the line. That's what it was. That was the difference.
Yeah.
And it didn't really take long with us, which is what surprised me. It was, some minor adjustments and thinking in a different way. I was too used to this templates, this idea of using the templates online. And I mean, they helped. They definitely took me to 25, but I wasn't able to go any further than that. There was a limit to those templates.
Our first video, a part that I wish I would have emphasized more, which I get this second chance to do it here. The advice that you gave the test takers, Vishal, is you said that in the meetings with me, you said that it was helpful for you to see me get into the zone of answering. And you said I was speaking with a lot of purpose and a lot
Hmm.
of endeavor. And this
Hmm.
is very fitting for the people that I've been helping this month. I've been telling them Your answers are not getting 26 because they are hollow answers. You're
Mhm.
just saying things that sound good but have no endeavor or purpose behind them. You're just saying, broaden my horizons, but you do nothing to develop that topic. You're not speaking with purpose. And for those of you who are going to go back to watch the first video that Vishaal made with me, listen, pay attention to that part that he's telling you helped him pass. So, for example, with speaking question number one, when we get the question and have 15 seconds to prepare, most of the time, my preparation, I waste all 15 seconds trying to decide which way I'm going to go.
Mhm.
Unlike most of you who are spending your 15 seconds, you spend the first second going with what the easier option is, even though that's not what the question tells you to do. The question wants to hear your genuine preference.
Mhm.
And so most of you spend the other 14 seconds trying to plan all 45 seconds of what you're going to say. I see why you're trying to make it easier for yourself, but don't you see that's the exact opposite of an advanced speaking answer? An advanced speaking answer is more like the ability to be spontaneous.
Mhm.
Like you do, I imagine, in your day to day life or week to week life when you're speaking English. You never tell
Mhm.
somebody, stop, I need 15 seconds to prepare the next 45 seconds. So I see why you guys are doing that, but I hope that Vishal and I are helping you to see how that's undeserving of an advanced score. 26 is an advanced score. Okay, so Vishal, what do you think?
Yeah, no, that's true. So the question they're asking for something particular, and they want you to answer it in if you the question. I mean, I'm sorry, Aaron, it's been a while, but you know the questions that they ask, I just remember them being very specific, and they're almost telling you in the question how they want you to answer. You know, the answer is kind of in the question. The it describes to you in the question what it's asking for. And there were a lot of times when I remember you picked me out on this, and I was answering I was answering the question, but I wasn't answering the question. I was answering something else. I was saying I wasn't looking at what the question wanted. I was just answering off what I assumed the question was asking, if that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Um,
That's very
and
common.
Yeah, and I know I did that a couple of times at least in some of the in the initial tests, the ones which I didn't pass, where I was thinking I was answering the question, but I was just speaking. I'm not
Yes.
answering the question. I'm just speaking.
Right. Those of you that have been taking classes with me, I know you appreciate the timing of Vishal saying this and this video coming out very much. That is very common. Um, and it's not until people are working with me one on one, and it's my opportunity slash responsibility to prove it to you that you did not answer the question. Like you just heard Vishal say, he was, and many of you are answering a question that's a cousin to the question instead of directly straight to the point and always to the point of what they're asking you, you guys go with what you're comfortable with, which is like a cousin to the question, which means you made it impossible for them to give you maximum points on topic development. You developed a slightly different topic. Excellent.
Ve
Yes.
yeah, very well put. You're answering the cousin of the question. That's very well put. That's Yeah, I resonate with that. That's exactly what I was doing for a long time before you picked me out on that. And I do remember you mentioning that.
Yes. Okay. So you guys, some of you are hesitant to take classes with me because you know I'm going to pick apart your answers and you don't want that criticism or judgment. But I hope you're looking at Pharmacist Vishaal, who's finished and is saying that he's glad I did that because that allowed him to finish the TOEFL faster than he would have otherwise. So, in order to help you score more points, I do have to figure out why aren't you already scoring more points? I hear the fluency is very good, but oh, okay, this is what it is. So, this is the negative why you haven't been scoring 26 yet. And now here's how we turn it into the positive as quickly as possible.
You know, I didn't pass twice, and that's when I was at the crossroads. Should I pay money? Because this is something else people will be thinking. Should I pay money and you know get some training, get some lessons, um, or should I keep trying to pass on my own? But here's the thing, the longer you leave it, if you're going to be making the same mistakes, even if you improve by a certain extent, but you don't get the 26, every exam I think it's
Thinking about the farm,
250.
there you go.
I'm thinking of my bad, but still 250. And at least for me, I was having to travel out, so I would have to stay the night at a hotel. You put everything together, and for the food, this
Not cheap.
400. Yeah, it's not cheap. And nothing's cheap anymore. So, um, for me, it's I forgot what the term for it is, Aaron. It's like there's an economic term for it. It's like an opportunity cost. Is that the
Opportunity
word?
cost.
Yeah, I need to relook at the definition, but basically it means you actually save money in the long run by spending a bit more initially, you know?
Yes.
Um, and that's what I found, and it worked. I mean, for me, it worked, and I believe for everyone else it can work as well, because I think you're a great tutor in it, and the things you showed me worked. So me spending that extra
In,
money on
investment.
or investment, yeah, receiving some tuition, uh, um, as opposed to trying to go on my own, it definitely helped. It saved me time, and time is money.
Yes. Yes, there it is. The investment. One of the things that I have started to include in one of the very first emails that I send to people as soon as they have scheduled their first meeting, their first class with me, is that I want everybody who invests in me to pass. That
Mhm.
makes sense, guys, right?
Yeah.
So otherwise, why would anybody in the future invest in me? So I'm glad that you guys get to hear Vishaal's rational thinking and how those of you listening to this, you get to hear his rational thinking on risk versus opportunity and how investing, the sooner you invest, like you get, he said it better than I can right now, but I think it's very valuable for you guys to hear his rational thinking on that because I know that you guys are not always as rational thinking as he is. For other reasons, you are hesitating to invest in yourself, or maybe you have been making the wrong investments.
Mhm.
Vishaal, people that really enjoyed your first video as it's the one that is the most often cited to me as the one that helped them the most out of all the videos that I have. And the people that are watching this, they might be interested in messaging you maybe just to get the 26% off in my meetings or to ask you for advice. What do you want to tell people who they're on the fence? Maybe they're going to send you an email, maybe they won't. What should they do?
Yeah, you guys just send me an email. Ask me whatever you feel like asking me with regards to Aaron and his speaking 26. And in general, you can ask me anything about pharmacy, and I'll try and help you guys as much as I can.
Disclaimer. The information provided is for general informational purposes only and is presented at the individual's own risk. It is not intended to defame any entity or individual. Aaron and his guests make no representations or warranties of any kind, either express or implied, regarding the completeness or suitability of the information. The views expressed by Aaron and his guests are not affiliated with, approved by, or endorsed by any entity or organization, including, but not limited to, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, the Test of English as a Foreign Language, TOEFL, and Educational Testing Service, ETS.
I have showed the most amount of people passing, getting 26 on TOEFL speaking than anybody else has. And when I say show, I mean real people like you can see and hear Michelle here, not just a post that may be real or not, but a person that you can see and hear. The speaking templates are wrong. Because to get 26 on speak, and when you see somebody who did get 26 on speaking or above, and they tell you they used the speaking template, they did not get 26 on TOEFL IBT speaking because of the speaking template. No, they got 26 on TOEFL IBT speaking in spite of the limiting nature of the speaking template. They got 26 on TOEFL IBT speaking because their speaking fluency was so good, is so good, that it was able to overcome the limiting structure that is speaking templates.
I never got 26 using AI website.
Okay, but you did on the real test after meetings with me.
Yeah.
If you want to see more videos with people giving you their best advice on how they got their 26 on TOEFL IBT speaking, you can watch that YouTube playlist. It's connected to this video, and you can find it by searching for TOEFL IBT Speaking 26. You can also find it by going through speaking26.com. These are people who before were not getting 26 on TOEFL speaking and after did get 26 and pass their tests. I asked them, hey, can you give your best advice to people who are still taking the test? How did you go from not passing to passing?
When I read about the TOEFL exam, I didn't really think much of it. I just thought, okay, straightforward thing. It's an English exam. How difficult can it be?
The pharmacy board needs specifically 26 in speaking.
I used to change the template. Maybe this is more advanced, so I will use this the next exam, and I try to practice this for maybe a month or two to be able to master it, to say it without thinking. Every time I found myself getting maybe less score or the same score. It doesn't make any difference to just change the templates and use different introductory words. It didn't make any difference for me. Some of my friends advised me to start taking sessions with you.
This helped me in passing my TOEFL exam. Aaron helped me to pass and get 26.
Aaron, actually, any words will not be enough. But really, I'm very thankful.
26 in speaking, and I finally got it, and I'm so excited to get to the next step in my pharmacist license.
Look at my accent, look at people who got 26. So just surround yourself with people who motivate you.
Look, I passed. That bit that's missing is probably the most important bit to get you to 26.
Yes.
And that's the bit where Aaron, I felt, helped me realize where I was going wrong. And that bit where I was going wrong, I think it goes for everyone. It doesn't matter whether you speak English is your first language or not. That bit that was missing is something everyone really needs to understand in order to get that 26.
Once you are in the level that you need to become advanced in order to get the 26, you need to get rid of the templates.
Template will hinder your ability to deliver the question, because it shows that you are reading something or you are not speaking, you are reading.
I was using completely different template or different way. I started to apply your way, and once I started to practice your way, it's easy for me.
That was really good for me. It really helps me because with this in my mind, I could speak faster, and because I was confident.
it's challenging, but you know, after you pass it, the feeling of victory, it's worth it.
As English is my first language, I thought the speaking templates would be enough to get me the 26 that I needed. Unfortunately, it wasn't, and I only scored a 23. Your lack of getting 26 is not due to your speaking ability. It has been due to your less than optimal strategy. Get rid of the training wheels.
The templates were like, oh my God, why did they create those templates?
Aaron, you are a big helpful for students like us. We need somebody to like stir revolution in our heart inside, give life to our conversation. And this will never happen through other sites like they have exact traditional pattern, the template, first, second, for example. Don't say, for example, the second time, for instance. Really? And like robot, I felt myself without life. I don't have the freedom to speak.
You don't have to worry that much about how can I mention 2 reasons with 2 details or 2 examples. It's too much for me. You help students to increase their fluency.
Instead of following that speaking template or any other speaking template, trust your fluency.
For the students who are taking with you, trust this guy. He's amazing. He will shift or improve your level as soon as possible.
Like just jump my score from 23 to 26, like this. How many hours I took with you? 5. Look at this. 5 hours in 2 weeks. I passed my test.
I was surprised that I passed after 5 sessions together.
I hope you keep inspiring and helping more pharmacists and more other students to achieve their goal and become professionals here in the United States.
If I had just, found you earlier.
For people who's really, they have concern and they need to do it very fast, go to the original, the source of help.
Go to Aaron. He's the guy. He was the guy for me. And hopefully he's the guy for you. And he'll set you straight. He'll tell you what you need to do to get that 26